Hey gamers, Maniac here on behalf of GameAccess.net. For those of you who may have seen my previous video that I posted up on YouTube and on my website, you'll know that I got a shipment of a specific beverage, a specific gamer's beverage, on behalf of the manufacturer who basically makes that beverage. So this can probably be considered a sponsored video. However, in my defense of making this sponsored video, I'm going to be honest, I was going to do this video anyway. At some point, I was definitely planning on doing this video. So I just want to get all of that right out, just right now. Well, if you've seen the info description above, or if you read the info description below, you know what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about Bawls soda. That's right. What can I say about Bawls? Well, this is a Memories of Maniac. So this is a series that I do, an unscripted series where I talk about my memories of basically anything gaming related. It could be about video games, it could be about things in the video game culture, it could be things about outside of video games, but for the most part, these are just my memories of things that can be considered gaming related. And let me be honest, I know I've done a Crystal Pepsi video, but I'm just going to say this right now. I never had a Crystal Pepsi and played a video game before. I've had plenty of gaming sessions with Bawls at my side. That is right, I said that and I'm not taking it back. Well, what can be said about Bawls? And, okay, we're just going to get this right out right now. I'm going to be saying the word Bawls a lot in this video. But when I say the word Bawls, I just want you to know I'm talking about these Bawls. Not any other kind of balls that might be in your, whatever it is that you're thinking about right now. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about these. These Bawls. B-L-W-L-S. Not the other kind, or any other kind. This is a PG rated video. Let's try to keep it PG. My first memories of Bawls. We are just starting off great right now. But that's it. I'm not cutting this. We're keeping this going. My first memory of Bawls probably came from the recommendations of my friend, the Unknown Camera Person. Unfortunately, I begged the Unknown Camera Person to help me today, to assist. I knew these were coming today. I tried to bribe the Unknown Camera Person with promises of balls and X games and chips and stuff like that, but unfortunately, they are just book solid. They're basically in school, they're taking classes right now and they're just book solid. So unfortunately, I can't speak on behalf of the Unknown Camera Person, but I can say, at least from what I remember, it was the Unknown Camera Person who was telling me you should try Bawls. I am a PC builder. I don't buy PCs. I haven't bought PCs probably for the past decade, because let me be honest, I don't think that PCs that are mass-produced these days meet my specifications. I can build computers much better than I can find them mass-produced these days, with very few exceptions. Not counting laptops and stuff like that, of course. So most of my, at least by the time I was in high school, I was really studying how to build computers and how to assemble them from scratch. And I was on a process, basically, of trying to build my very first computer, probably around the early to mid-2000s. I was working on it. And so there was nowadays, there are like millions of websites you could travel to where you could go and build computers yourself. But this was in the cusp before Amazon took over the world, and because of that, it was tougher. I was kind of like I wasn't very trustworthy. This was before the Amazon revolution. So I mean, you could buy stuff online, but in my cases, whenever I bought something online, I paid just the same price as I would anywhere else, and I'd have to wait weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks to get it. And I have to pay more because I have to pay for shipping. So I was very much against. This was before things were cut, and this is before they had the pricing and everything else, and the good return policies that they do in the fast shipping. So if I wanted computer parts, the only places I could get good computer parts, except for online, would be either at a computer fair or at a place called CompUSA. CompUSA was a superstore that was operational over here. There was one in, I think it was near, it was basically about a 30-minute drive away. And most of the time, if I needed things like GPUs or, you know, fans or hard drives and CD drives, that sort of stuff, basically, I would usually go there to buy it. Also, they sold software, they sold video games, they sold TVs, they sold a whole bunch of stuff. But basically, the CompUSA was like, if you had to get a part immediately, you could just simply go there, pay MSRP for it, and you would leave with the part. So they weren't the cheapest by any means, but they were workable. And CompUSA sold something else along with their PC parts. I would usually find myself going there quite a bit with the unknown camera person. We usually would do this if we were out there, because they were about a 5-minute drive from the local Best Buy. So what I would typically find myself doing was checking the prices at Best Buy, shopping around looking for a deal or something on software or DVDs or computer parts or whatever. And if I wasn't satisfied with what Best Buy was selling, which would happen quite frequently, the unknown camera person, I'd be like, let's just keep going down the street, let's hit CompUSA and see if they got anything over there. And I usually find, if I didn't find something at Best Buy I liked, I would usually find something at CompUSA I liked, whether it be a video game or this item. CompUSA sold cases, I think there were 12 packs, of this soda. This soda. Bawls. And I thought it was unusual that CompUSA, a place that I knew would only sell, you know, PC components and software, would sell soda. So I thought, wow, this must be an unusual kind of soda for CompUSA to sell it. I think a 12-pack probably cost, give or take with tax, about $18.50 US. So it wasn't like it was overpriced by any means. In fact, in a lot of cases, once I started drinking Bawls, if CompUSA didn't have anything I liked, I'd at least walk out with a case of Bawls if they had them. CompUSA would usually put these up in the front or near the register spaces, huge stacks of 12 packs. And these things, you couldn't miss them. These were not plain, these were not plain packages or all white packages or all brown packages with the word Bawls on them. These were flashy packages. So I said to the unknown camera person, what is this stuff that they're selling? And the unknown camera person is like, it's Bawls. You gotta try this stuff. It's great. In fact, I'm gonna buy a case. So the unknown camera person picked up a case, and I said to him, well, what's so interesting about this stuff? And the unknown camera person told me, oh, this stuff is high caffeinated. That's what makes it so great. That's why CompUSA is selling it, is because this is the stuff that LAN gamers drink. And I just remember having fond memories of LAN parties growing up that I'd attend as I was a high school student. I'd go to LAN parties, and I just like, wow, that's cool. And I always remember, now granted, I was probably, I think I was like 15, 16 years old at the time. But I was thinking about, man, I can't wait till I'm 18, I can't wait till I'm 20, I can't wait till I'm in college and I'll just be having LAN parties every other day or something. I can't wait for that. I was so envious of the people that were in college. And the young camera person's like, yeah, you've got to try this stuff. And I was very wary about it, because I had heard of sodas like Jolt Cola. This was before Monster. There was no Monster back then, at least none that I had seen. And I was very wary because I was like, even though I drank a lot of coffee and I was used to high caffeinated, this is the kind of beverage that would put a warning on the label, basically. And I was worried about trying it because I was worried, not that I was going to hate it, but that, well, I was a little worried I was going to hate it. But I was also a little worried that I was going to like it too much. Like if I was going to, like not get addicted to it, but be like, I really like this stuff, and just basically buying cases and cases of it. Not addicted to it, but that this stuff was going to be like, I was really into Sprite. Like, I drank a lot of Sprite at the time, and I was like, I was probably going to have to go out to, because there was not a lot of people that sold it. CompUSA was the only place that sold it. I couldn't find individual bottles of it anywhere. And again, this was before online, trade became as ubiquitous as it is today. I think Amazon and sites like Amazon and Newegg have a lot to do about that. So moving on, the unknown camera person's like, all right, I'll tell you what. I'm buying a case of 12. You can have 2 bottles of the stuff. I didn't pay for it, so I was grateful. I said, all right. So I put them in the, once we got them back, because they didn't come refrigerated. So I put mine in the fridge. And the unknown camera person, I think, I don't know, maybe another friend of mine, and maybe, I don't know if it was an ex-girlfriend of the unknown camera, I can't remember. But somebody else might have been with us. Maybe it was an ex-girlfriend of mine, or the other, I don't remember. But anyways, so we put the balls in the fridge, doing it again, and eventually I figured, okay, this stuff has had adequate time to cool. And it had. So I pulled the balls out of the fridge, and I was like, oh, you got one of those pop tops. I'm going to have to get, no, they twist right off, and they do. You just twist it right off, and the pop top comes right off. You don't need a bottle opener. And I said, okay, here it goes, down the hatch. God, that's good. Still tastes as good as I remember. This stuff still tastes just as good as I remember the first time I ever drank it. That's saying something. And I was like, I know what you're talking about. I understand why you love this stuff as much as you do. And I think at that point, and I've said this to the unknown camera person recently, because I told the unknown camera person I was going to be doing this video. I think you created a monster on that day. Me. You turned me into a monster. A balls drinking monster. Fast forward. Let me describe this stuff to you guys. For those of you who haven't drank it. I have some testing actually. If you go through my playlist, in fact I may even attach this video to that playlist. It's hard to describe the flavor of balls for anybody who's never tried it. The closest I think that a friend of mine came up with in mine, it is guarana flavor. It's basically based upon the guarana berry. So it's really hard to describe its taste. I think at one point I kind of described it as a mix between Coke and Sprite at the same time. However, personally I never drank Coke and Sprite together, so I really can't know if that's a proper comparison. It's a clear soda. It's not a cola, but then again, it's not really it's not really anything. It's a carbonated soft drink, and it's a unique carbonated soft drink, and I think that's why it's so unique. It is high caffeinated. A bottle like this comes in about 10 ounces. It is just delicious. Higher caffeine than a Red Bull, at least per ingredients listed. I think a Red Bull is about 16 ounces. If you compare the Red Bull 16 ounces, the Red Bull has more. But if you would cut the 16 ounces of a Red Bull down to 10 ounces, this wins out. So ounce for ounce, basically, this beats out, at least for caffeine content, a Red Bull. Which is something to keep in mind. So, fast forward. I'm picking this stuff, I'm picking up my own 12 packs of cases, and I cannot tell you how glorious these 12 packs looked. CompUSA would always put them front and center whenever they had a supply of this stuff. And what they'd have is, sorry for the burps, they usually buy, I guess, 50 cases or something usually. So they buy like 50 cases, 12, all of them 12 packs. And they'd stack them up like a big pyramid, kind of like how you'd see if you ever saw cases upon cases stacked in like a supermarket or a corner market or something. It was no different. But these cases were really cool looking. These had logos of video games on them. These had paintball logos and stuff because Bawls was a big sponsor of paintball events. Sometimes they'd have BMX sponsorship stuff on them. But the case design that I really remember was a very nice looking silver case that they did in conjunction with a game that I absolutely have a soft spot for, but I'll talk about more later because I didn't play it at the time, was a game, it was logos and stuff for a game called Run Like Hell. And I think that, I don't remember if this was a logo, I don't remember if this was a tagline for the soda at the time or a tagline for the game, but I definitely remember this tagline, and it went like this: grab your balls and run like hell. That was the tagline. And it's a very nice pun, let me tell you. But that was, out of all of the packaging that I remember from those early 12 packs, was the Run Like Hell packaging was probably my favorite. There were some they did was like a neon green covered in like paintball splatters and stuff. That I thought was kind of cool. They even had a little, those particular packages even had like little paintball splatters on the what do you call it themselves. Unfortunately, I don't have a picture of that. I haven't seen pictures of it online really. It's very hard to actually find pictures, even online, of like older bottles of balls and older cases of balls. I've looked, I can find new bottle cases and stuff like that, and even mostly new stuff. But unfortunately, it's harder to find older stuff, so you'll just have to take my word for these particular promos. I didn't know what Run Like Hell was, because again, I was a PC, I wasn't just a PC gamer, I was a PC only gamer. I didn't play console games yet at the time. This was probably around the time when the PS2, original Xbox, and GameCube were out, and I really wasn't playing any of those consoles. It wouldn't be until about 2005 at least until I really started getting into console gaming as well as PC gaming. But that's a story for another time. So, moving on, I became a bit of a balls fanatic. I made sure to have this stuff at LAN parties. I made sure to supply this stuff. I spread the word of balls. As I got older and I started dating, I was sharing balls with girlfriends and girlfriends' friends. I am just, please do not flag this video for my talk. I'm still talking about the soda. I'm trying to keep this G-rated, sorry. So, and I actually converted a lot of people into basically trying the stuff and enjoying them, but I always remember whenever I'd have a LAN party, and I used to host LAN parties at my house quite a bit because as the 2000s went on, it became harder and harder for me to find anybody locally that would actually host a LAN party. And so if I wanted to have a LAN party or attend a LAN party, I'd usually have to host it myself. And trust me, this beverage became a staple, so thank you CompUSA for supplying this stuff. I don't know if I've been clear about why Bawls is such a great and well-known gamer's drink, but let me just give you guys a couple of examples of how I remember gaming and Bawls being intertwined. Back in around 2004 or so, there was a LAN center that I used to frequent. It was like a home away from home for me. In fact, one of the first videos I ever produced for this YouTube channel was a video called Small Town Geek Bar, which was about a LAN center that I used to frequent called the Combat Zone. Well, it was a very social place. It was more than just a LAN center. This was a place where people could get together, hang out, and talk as well. And there wasn't too much, at least at the time, where gamers could socialize with each other, at least IRL. Online, plenty of places for gamers to interact, but in real life, especially where I'm from, there really wasn't much of a gaming culture, and it was nice for me to meet locals. The beverage of choice amongst the locals, and they sold this stuff, was Bawls. We all drank Bawls, kicked back, compared notes about games. We were playing games like Unreal Tournament 2004, Counter-Strike Source, back when it was in beta. And this was just as World of Warcraft was just about to take off and pretty much dominate the MMO scene, but I remember a lot of players getting into that just when that started. So, there was another time when I remember going to a LAN party that was held at a local venue which is called The Space over here. It's mostly known as a music hall, and I usually remember people talking about it as like a club and music hall basically for like, college-age individuals. And one day, I think it was around 2005 or so, they were deciding to have a LAN party during, I guess it was like a Saturday afternoon or something. And we actually had a really fun LAN party, during the day, we brought our computers over. Me, the unknown camera person. The unknown camera person was the one who told me about it, and we all went. And Bawls actually sponsored this LAN party. And no joke, they had banners and they gave away bottles. Like everybody that attended, once we paid for our seat, we got a free Bawls along with our seat basically, and that was really nice. So I remember playing Unreal Tournament 2004 against everybody and totally cleaning clock. No joke. We had a lot of players, and for some reason they wanted to play on really small maps, and I knew once I pulled out the chain gun, it was over, and I was right. But that wasn't my favorite Bawls related memory. Obviously, I'd still bring Bawls with me if ever I was hosting a LAN party at my house, and I used to host a couple of them. I still do, but not as many as I'd like to. And I didn't unfortunately host one this year. But we basically had a LAN party where if I had a LAN party, I'd have Bawls. I'd have a supply of Bawls because I usually get at least Bawls for all of my friends, or at least half of them have a Bawls. And trust me, everybody was like, we got to go to this LAN party. We got to go to Maniac's LAN party. He's going to have Bawls. We're going to be able to drink Bawls over there. But my favorite memory involving Bawls would probably have to do with a time when I was actually working. It actually isn't a gaming-related story at all. A friend of mine who was actually a very nice mentor to me was talking to me one day during lunch, and he was saying, I have to work late tonight, and I'm really not going to look forward to it because I usually don't work late. This is an extenuating circumstance. I don't know if I'll be able to stay up, he said. And it just so happened that I picked up a 24-pack of Bawls online recently at that point, and I had a couple of Bawls in a cooler, a couple of bottles of Bawls in a cooler in my car, or my trunk, or whatever. So I said, I think I got something that might help you out. And he's like, what? I said, it's a high caffeinated soda. It's called Bawls. He had never heard of it before. This guy was a writer and a professional, but he had no idea. He had never drank Bawls before in his life. And so I gave him a bottle, and I said, here, drink this when you get sleepy this evening, and it should be able to get you through the rest of the night. And he's like, okay. So I gave it to him, and I didn't think anything of it. And I came in the next morning because I didn't work late. I didn't work late with him, so I didn't know what had happened. And so I asked him, did you enjoy the soda? And he's like, my wife hates you. No, like, whoa, what is this? I had met his wife. I thought she was really nice, actually. Like, what was going, what did I do? He said, I drank those Bawls, and I was bouncing off the walls all night long. No joke. And I said, wow. Unfortunately, it's become harder since CompUSA closed down around 2007 or so for me to get a steady supply, a steady income of Bawls. I have tried my best amongst my local retailers and resellers. I've tried everybody over here. Target, for like the blink of an eye, sold the 4-pack cans, but they haven't done that in years, and I don't know why. Rarely, one of my local mom and pop corner stores will sell Bawls by the individual bottles, but it is next to impossible for me to find, other than online suppliers, anybody that would sell it by the case. And usually, if I have to buy it individually, I'll usually have to pay about $2.50 for the stuff. There is a local YouTuber online. I don't know if they're still producing videos, but they were producing videos a couple of years ago called named GamerCat09 that I used to watch their videos quite a bit. I think they're still producing content. And they were doing a Let's Play, this was a couple of years ago, of a video game called Run Like Hell. And I remembered Run Like Hell from the Bawls campaign. And I just distinctly remember, wow, I wonder if there's Bawls in Run Like Hell. And up until GamerCat09 had done that Let's Play, I don't think anybody online had really any footage of this game. This was like one of those forgotten games, kind of. There was a website, The Escapist had done an Unskippable about the opening cutscene. That was like my first exposure to the game, really, directly. But nothing else. And then I saw GamerCat09's Let's Play of it. And there's Bawls. Bawls vending machines in the game. Bawls was a health item in the game. And I was like, I have to get this game just for that alone. And I did. PS2 and original Xbox versions too. I don't think I paid more than $12 for either of these games individually. I think I paid like $9 for this version. I think I paid like $12 for this version, basically, on Amazon resellers. Brand new, too. And I have no complaints. I haven't played the Xbox version, but I have played the PS2 version. And as a Bawls fanatic, seeing Bawls vending machines in a game... Why don't we have Bawls vending machines in real life? Can you please tell us, Bawls? I want real Bawls vending machine. In fact, I'd like to have a real Bawls vending machine in my house where I can keep my 24, I can load them into my 24 cases and stuff. Please, please make them, Bawls. Because they're just the coolest idea ever. Look at these things. When we now live in a world where energy drinks are everywhere. And they're sponsor major events like X Games or, you know, and Bawls still doesn't have the massive supplies chains that other events, other labels have. And they haven't, and I think that's really a shame. Because as far as I'm concerned, this bottle deserves to be on every shelf, on every supermarket in the country. And probably in the world as well. This is what everybody wants. People really like energy drinks. People really like high caffeinated sodas. It is shocking to me that there aren't more people that sell it, especially since CompUSA shut down. And that's why on my website and on this YouTube channel, I devoted so much time to talking about this beverage. Because I want the word out there. I want people talking about this. I want people demanding this soda to be sold. I want to see giant billboards, like in one of the Fallout games, when this stuff actually replaced Nuka-Cola. Yes, there's a Fallout game. I think it's Fallout Brotherhood of Steel, although I've never played the game and I haven't seen a Let's Play of it. But there is actually a Fallout game which actually uses this, and there are in-game billboards. Yeah. Trying to sell Bawls. Why don't we have that in real life? That would just be awesome. Amazing. Make it happen. I'd like to thank you guys for watching this video. I'd like to thank Bawls for sending me this case of good soda. And stay tuned, guys, because there's probably going to be more Bawls related content coming up. If you have any ideas about what you want to see me do with Bawls, you can obviously check my Twitter feed, or you can post a comment below and we'll see what happens. Till next time, guys, my name is Maniac. This is Bawls. Take care. Over and out. Oh yeah.